And by the way, like if people start selling Notion templates based on a context, let's say based on use cases, how does that gonna work?
Yeah, I would say that's the best approach of getting into starting sharing and selling Notion templates. It's like when I say before the niche, I meant to niche down what specific problem are you solving for who, and what's the process that they're going through. Because I mean, I actually think you have like two different options. One, it's like if you already have an audience because of some reason, like you have a huge newsletter or you have like in some platform a huge audience, then it's easier to sell those templates to your specific audience. But if not, I would do this process of, all right, what problem do I want to solve for who? And if I think about that ideal audience, what are they going through? Like, what's the pain points do they have? What's the steps they follow when going through that problem? And then creating something according to that.
Okay, understood. And also, when it comes to this Notion templates, right? If people like they start creating more and more templates, they can show their expertise, right? Like instead of just focusing on selling, at least they could show their expertise in the market, which can then lead them to getting clients and getting leads, right? Even that can be a possible way, right?
Hmm. Yes, I would say that there are many different ways to do it. So if it goes to you getting an income out of Notion, there are many ways to do. So like the first and easiest step, or the step with less friction, let's call it, it's like starting with Notion templates. But another way to do it is as well share your expert, like even through templates or like through video or content, show your expertise with it, and then you will attract clients. And then it's like you will solve those. Maybe you don't want to sell those templates, but like either solve those specific problems for those clients directly. Or you can even do both, or you can even share a template and then share a package with like, hey, here's the template plus a one-on-one consulting call so I can in 1 hour adapt that template to your needs. So there are like
Understood.
many different combinations, but I think that's the magic of it. Like you can do whatever you want. So yeah.
True, true. Again, let's just talk specific about Notion, like meaning I know like you are a Notion expert, but from your expertise, I mean, but from your perspective, do you think Notion is really, I would say, the best tool when it comes to managing your businesses and operations? Or like, do you also, kind of recommend some other tools? Like, is it,
Hmm.
I mean, like, I wanted to ask you, like, does Notion really solves all your problems when it comes to managing a business and operations? What do you see about it?
I actually love this question. Like, does it really solve it? Because like this is like the huge message that they always say. And I would say yes, but with some quotations and some specifications. So I think we need to start with which kind of business do you have
Okay.
and how big is it? So for example, if you're selling physical products and you're like on the manufacturing side of business, you probably don't need Notion, or like you can, for sure you can use like many other tools that I don't even know about for like, yeah, like treating with that part. But and on another hand, if you are like a business that's been like going on and about for many years and you're like 300 people, yes, you can use Notion, but my recommendation would be if you can afford to pay Salesforce or another huge CRM or like bigger tools, then do it. Because like as the bigger your team is, the more privacy and restrictions and privacy settings you will want to have. And there are many other tools to cover that magnitude of a problem. But if you're a business and you're like from one, like your team is like from one people to like 25 or like 30, let's say like less than 50, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like we're a startup, we're growing super fast, and we just want to do things to work more efficiently, let's say, and we're like on the starting point of the business, then in my opinion, it's the best tool out there. At least the ones that I've been trying and the ones that I've been like managing and dealing with from all of my clients. And there are many reasons for that. I would say that the main reason is it's not a productivity tool itself. It's not like you're using Notion to manage your tasks and projects. It's not like a project management tool. It's like a tool to build a system for your business. And that's what makes it different
Okay.
from the other ones. So for example, most of my clients come to me saying like, I tried all of them. Like I started using Trello and then we jumped to Asana, and a friend of mine is using like ClickUp. But each one of those tools, to begin with, they have a specific purpose. So for example, Asana is project management, and Trello, it's kind of project management, but with more restrictions, like you only get the Kanban
Yes.
board view.
Yes.
And then ClickUp, it's like, yes, it has more to it. Like you can manage information and then mix it with pages, but it's super rigid. It's not the most intuitive, and there's like a lot of friction. Like to start organizing your business, yes, but I've had clients that like, I've been using ClickUp for 2 years now, and I cannot handle it anymore. Like I cannot grow with
Okay.
using this tool. But then with Notion, it's like, yes, at first it's a bit scary because it's like you just get this blank page, but you have the combinations of like all the tools and features. You have databases, you have pages, you have automations, you have forms, you have charts, and it's like you have all the ingredients to build a system to manage your business. Like, do you need to manage your projects and tasks? You can do that. You need to manage your finances. You can also do that. You can manage HR, you can manage operations. Like, it's not a tool to manage like one part of your business, but most of it.
Month.
However, is it the only tool you're going to need to manage your business? Probably not. I mean, for
True.
finance, well, no, finances, like you can use Notion, but I personally use Excel, like Google Sheets still, because I started there and I'm not doing that. And everything that's like payment related and sensitive data from the clients, you can still manage other tools for that. But the basics and the core of what's going on in my business, what do we need to care about, especially if you're working with a team, just to have the wiki and the manage the projects, the clients, the tasks, what's going on, the SOPs, everything that's going on. You need a hub to store all of that information. Because like if you're a solo business owner, I mean, I'm a solo business owner and I need this hub for myself to be like all the ideas I have in my mind and all the details that I'm storing, I need to store them somewhere. But if you're working with a team, all my clients come saying the same thing of like, we need to get aligned and to make sure that everyone is working on the same things and that
Understood.
everyone knows what's important and what's our focus for this quarter, for example. And to do that, you need a space to have this one on unique source of truth. So everyone is looking at the same data, everyone is collaborating within the same data, and all the team is aligned. So we don't need to like spend hours in Slack or I don't know, other chats like, hey, how's this project going? Hey, do you need this? Hey, I need you to do this. No, it's like that's happening in the business hub, and then you can communicate inside that part, but like you are all watching on the same data set.
Understood. And also, as you've said, like, it's kind of scary when people get started with Notion because it's going to be a complete blank page. But that's what actual power lies, right, in the first place, because it lets you to build whatever you want. Instead of being
Yes,
rigid as possible, it kind of lets you to build whatever you want based on your business, right? And
yes,
also with the and also with the latest AI features, like as you've mentioned, like if people having a lot of things going on in the Notion database, we have this Ask AI, right? Meaning we can get to, we can easily get to the exact database or the specific property that we are looking out for, so which is even more powerful, right?
exactly.
Understood.
Yes.
That's really awesome. Now, coming back to your expertise again, what is your source of lead generation for, be it consulting, or be it implementation, like for all your Notion businesses, right? Like how do you source lead generation?
Hmm. I would say that this has been changing for the last 3 years, and it's been changing month to month. So at first, I would say a year and a half ago, like 2 years ago, I was getting all my leads from I think it's a freelance platform called Upwork. Um,
Okay.
but then again, as more users were starting to use Notion, there were more people offering the services. And that got super crowded super fast. So, I mean, if you're starting Notion, your Notion consulting journey or something, I would still go in there to like start getting your first clients, but it's pretty crowded. And then the other two ones I would say right now are from some Notion events that we were hosting, mostly last year.
Okay.
So we do like I'm a Notion ambassador, so we host Notion events here in Barcelona, well, no, in Madrid and like from all Spain, just like sharing updates and presenting use cases and everything else. So a lot of companies also go in there to like ask questions and get all the answers that they don't get looking through YouTube, I guess. Um,
Understood.
and I also get some clients from them. And if not, now I'm getting to this point where it's like previous clients are referring to other clients, direct them my way. So that's like the third way.
Okay, so which means you do not do any sort of outbound, like email campaigns. You don't do those kind of things.
And no, so far I don't.
Wow. That's, I mean, that's like really great because not, completely depending on outbound marketing, you're getting a lot of inbound. That's like really good. But what if, let's say, I am a beginner? I've just, got started with Notion. I want to start selling my service, be it consulting or implementation, and I do not have a very big following. I'm just getting started on social media as well. So how should I get started in this case?
I would say that it's pretty delicate. Well, no, you still have time, but I would say it's starting to be pretty delicate because, like, as I was saying, like the growth is exponential, so you gotta be fast. Well, not fast, but like you gotta be mindful about it. And I would say you need to start to establish yourself as an authority as much as you can online to get through those clients. But I would also say Notion consulting, it's like, oh, I can build whatever you need inside Notion. But I would say this happens the same, it's the same situation with templates. If you can be a Notion consultant for something specific, then you
Specific.
have more chances of getting more clients and get an authority out there. Because like nowadays you type anywhere like on the internet like Notion consultant, and even though we are not on the super early stages, but like I don't know, like beginning to medium stages of Notion consulting as a thing, because there are many people that still don't know what that's an actual thing. It's like I do everything for your life and business and everything in Notion, and it's like clients want to know what are you working with and what
Mhm.
kind of other clients are you working with, because they want to make sure that they're working with like the best consultant for their specific situation. So I would say I would do the same process as with Notion templates. Like, what am I good at? Like maybe I have a background in sales, maybe I have a background with HR, or like as a creator or whatever you do. How can I help people mixing those previous skills with Notion? And then
Okay,
thinking about, okay, once you
understood.
know like what kind of clients you want to help, think about where are they, where do they hang out online, or in real life events, and then you can start going through them. So I would say I would do two things at the same time. First, I would start building an audience,
Mhm.
again thinking about what that ideal client hangs
Mm,
out,
true, true.
and then start showing kind of a portfolio or something, so for whenever you finally can schedule a call or like a meeting with that first lead or that first client, to have something to show them. And then from
Okay.
that, just keep iterating so you get more clients and you have more stuff to show to them, and you do both at the same time.
Okay, understood. So it's like in current stage, when you wanted to do anything with Notion, it's like you have to try to go as specific as possible instead of being, a kind of, diversified. Because maybe let's say, prior to, like, before 5 to 6 years, if you wanted to do anything, you can just pretty much do anything with Notion, be it project or tasks. But now since it's being like crowded, everybody is kind of getting into Notion. So it's that we have to be as specific, as niche down as possible so that we can show our expertise, right?
Yes, I mean, it's not to go like super specific or super niche down, but to think about, like, first do a little bit of research and be like, how many consultants are out there? What are they working on? Because like, if you want to jump in a pool which is like fully crowded of people solving the same thing, it's gonna be harder for you. So if you are like, if your skill set it's also useful in like another, for example, imagine that you want to be an ocean consultant, not for business, but like for the, how do you say that, the educational side, like for, I don't know, like universities, or like, because I can imagine something going on in there as well. Then it's gonna be
Understood.
easier. But I would also say, I mean, if I were starting over, I would do this. Like first, I would like look at the how's the scenario going, do some research on how can I do my best, and find like a spot that's not like super crowded. But then you still will need to like put content out there, like start attracting people, start sharing anything that you know about Notion. And I would say that the most important thing is like to be really patient, because right
Okay.
now this is starting like super hard, I would say. And there's many people going through this kind. First it was like the race to go through get selling Notion templates, and now I have the feeling that's the race of like becoming a Notion consultant, which is a great thing
Consultant.
to like follow and pursue. But yeah, I would say like a lot of patience with that.
Okay, understood. Also, can you give us about your financials part in terms of, consulting? Meaning, like, uh, me as a beginner, like if I wanted to, let's say I'm getting a client, like how much can I expect being paid for me being a consultant or being an
Hmm.
implementation? Like, can you give me a rough figure as to understand like how the financials work?
I would say that this is I would say totally random. I mean, it's not random, but it depends on so many things. So number one, it's gonna depend on where are your clients from and
Okay.
what problem do you solve for them. So for
Okay.
example, when I started consulting, I think that my very first client was a student from a university who needed to like organize her whole stuff. You cannot charge a lot to them. But I didn't mind because it was like my first steps. Um, and then for sure, like if you go and your clients working like they have like your client is a business, or your client is like, I don't know, like a university or like an organization, they're gonna have more budget to solve that. But I would say that the price, you have to think about the price of how much of a big problem you're solving for that user.
Okay. So
So
that's
if
like
you're a
price.
consultant, but you're thinking more on the, I'm gonna help you get your life together and create like a business to manage your life. That's a great problem to solve, but they're not gonna pay you a lot for that.
True.
But if it's a business, they're gonna pay more. But again, like what stage are they in their business? How many people are they? Where do they live in the world? Like there are many, and also it really changes for like who's doing the consulting, what country are they from, what are our preferences to like set our pricings and everything else. So this is totally random, I would say.
Okay. Understood. Now, from your expertise, can you share like one use case that you've built for your clients? It's not that you have to go like deep down, but at least like one use case, like how did you build?
Yeah, I would say, well, I'm going to share a use case, but it's like the representation of 80% of my clients. But it's
Hmm.
like, I was working with a company that's called Fenu, which are like amazing, one of my best clients, to be honest. And
Okay.
the use case, it's pretty similar most of the time. It's like, hey, we've already, like, we met in a Notion event, and it was like, hey, we've already used Notion for like 6 months. Like we know what it is, we've been playing with that, and we want to use it to manage our business. But we're at the stage where we are super lost and confused and overwhelmed because like there is no way out and we need help.
Hmm.
Can you help us? And it was like, yeah, sure. So I jump in a call with them, like just a discovery call to go through like their Notion workspace and see what it was about.
Okay.
And it's always the same situation. It's like they discover Notion and they start trying templates and organizing things by themselves to like get a bit of taste of how that works. So they had super random templates, many pages, all the information was like all everywhere, which is like super common. Like we've all been there. I was like, we need to organize that and make it useful because I don't know how to make it
Hmm.
useful. I was like,
Hmm.
yes, no worries. That's why I'm here. Like that's what I do for a living. So what I created for them and also with them was like, let's start with what are the different departments of your business. For example, they were working with, they had like marketing, product development, customer support, human resources, and then all the project management side. And then it was like, all right. And for like each one of the different departments,
Hmm.
what do you need to take care about? Like what are the 80s that are super important to manage? And it was
Okay.
like, all right, so for product development, we need like all the SOPs, like all these steps that we need to process, like for every time we develop a new product. For customer support, we want to track like all the tickets, all the complaints to make sure that again everything is under control. So like for each one of the regions, what are the things we want to take care about?
Okay.
And then they also had like a wiki where it's like, okay, so we're a company. They were a team of like 7 or 10, but they still wanted a wiki to like, okay, who's working on this company? What's the calendar of like what's going on? What are the FAQs? So like again, just making sure that all the information from the business was inside the same business hub and it was intuitive to use. Like if you have any question, you know where to find those answers.
Exactly.
Um, and then the most important part, which is the part that brings like that makes a business work more efficiently when it's working with a team, it's to build the projects and tasks management system according to that specific business. So for them, what we created was like, no, what I created for them was like I built a task management that was like there is this kind of unique tasks database, so like
Okay.
anyone can have access to it. But then from each one of the individual departments, you're only going to be able to see the tasks related to that department. So there, it makes it so much
Okay.
easier. It's not like, hey, here's the unique tasks database, and you open it and you have like 300 entries, right? So it's like, okay, for marketing, what do we need to care about? And it's like, this is what marketing needs to care of, and this is what human resources needs to care of. So it makes it so much easier to work with. And then because there's these unique databases and everything is like connected on the backend, it's super easy to create a new task and send it to a teammate and tag it so it goes to the right department. So
Mm-hmm.
you can actually create tasks and send them to your teammates, and it's really easy to collaborate with.
Okay.
But at the same time, you only see the information that you need to see. So it's not like super crowded or overwhelming. And then the extra step that I also added, that I always add to most of my clients, is to have the unique My Dashboard section, where it's like, okay, imagine that we're 7 or 10, right? And we have many departments, but
Okay.
I probably feel like two different roles. Maybe I'm like on the product development, and also I help human resources, for example. If I want to see what needs to be done based on a department or area, I just go to that area and check it out. But if I wake up in the morning and it's 8 a.m. and I have my coffee and it's like, what do I need to do today? I just log into my dashboard section, and in there I'm going to see all the tasks that are assigned only to me, with the context of, okay, this is for this project for human resources. This is like for this new product for product development, but like I'm still able to see only the tasks that are assigned for me that I need to do today, to do this week, the next month, so I can organize my own tasks
Okay.
while creating new ones and sending them to like my teammates, and even commenting and engaging with my colleagues' tasks as well. So everything
Oh,
is connected. So I would say like on the backend, everything is connected. And that's what makes it so powerful to be so easy to use on the front end. Because like as far as you have like a neat front page with buttons, everything is like written in there, and you have the minimum information that everyone needs to care about. It's
mm-hmm.
like the perfect setup. And this is why it makes it so different from like Trello or like Asana or ClickUp or like any other tool. And also another thing that I always do if they don't use it already is to
Okay.
connect their Notion workspace with Slack. Because then it's like, yeah, like I know everything happens in Notion now, when like our day-to-day, like in our business, but I need reminders. Like I need to get reminded like anytime that I need to do something. And maybe I'm not all
Understood.
the time using Notion. Like maybe I'm actually developing the product or actually developing the marketing campaign. So how can I? And then it's like super easy. You just connect it to Slack, because like
Yes.
everyone has always Slack open, right? And then every time that a teammate of yours tags you in a new product or assigns you a new task or something, you're gonna get that reminder directly in Slack automatically. So that for me, it's like the cherry on top. Like you do your work, you receive a Slack message. Hey, Anish just sent you a task for you. Okay, you click that Slack message that sends you directly into Notion, not Notion, but like into that task inside Notion,
Exactly.
and you know what to do, and you can schedule it, and then you organize it with the rest of your stuff, and then you go back to your work. So it's like that's the most powerful setup, I think, for me, and that's what
Wow.
makes it Notion so unique and so valuable for like working with businesses.
Yes, and moreover, when it comes to integration between Notion and Slack, right, that's like really the simplest I can ever think of. I mean, like you
Yes.
just have to, given your credentials, you just have to do that. And moreover, inside Notion, we have, automations wherein if X happens, do Y in Slack. And I think, recently they've also, after bringing their Notion AI feature, right, we can ask anything
Yes.
in Notion, but not only in Notion database, but you can also ask like what is happening in Slack. I think that's the recent advancement that they have done,
Mm,
meaning like whatever is happening, what sort of conversation, whatever you're doing it in Slack, all those information can be retrieved inside Notion itself if you're asking it using AI. So that's another
mm,
one that they have actually included. So as you've said, if they're doing a lot of conversation, then probably they can easily retrieve all those, fetch all those details right inside Notion. So which is another
mm,
great powerful advancement that they have actually given, right? That's one
yeah.
thing. Yeah, and from this, like I could understand one thing is that instead of you trying to go and pitch businesses who are not at all using Notion, rather you can go and pitch business who are using Notion but are like super confused of like don't know what to do. So like you have a better chance
Hmm.
of converting them, right? Because they are already using Notion and they want it to be like the most powerful setup possible, which can
Hmm.
be done by these experts, right? Like what do you say about that?
Yeah, this is a very good question, because I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Yes, I think you have, there are many options, but like in my head, you have like A and B, and everything has its pros and its cons. So if you manage to pitch Notion to a business Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe, okay, there's the thing of like pitching Notion to a business who doesn't know what Notion is about. In that
Okay.
case, I think it's like super hard.
Very
One,
true. Very
because
true.
Notion is really hard to describe. And
Very true.
second, because for them it's like, why? Why do I need to,
Exactly.
like why? So good luck with that. And then I would say not pitching Notion, but like pitching your services at someone that already uses Notion. No, that already knows Notion, but they have not used it.
Not used it.
And then there's the other option where it's like pitching your services to someone who's already using Notion and it's a mess and they need to figure it out. I would say in here you have like two different options with its pros and cons. So imagine that I'm working with you. Okay, like you've been like you know about Notion, you want to try it so hard. Maybe you've tried like one day, but it's like, no, I'm not jumping into here, like I need help. Then I would say you get a really smooth project. It's a super smooth project because it's like super easy to do because you haven't built anything in Notion already. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really easy to like get to understand your needs and build something that's specific for you from scratch. Yes, as it's from scratch, it's probably gonna take more time. But again, also, as it's the first time you're using Notion, it's probably going to be the simplest setup ever. It's
True.
your first setup. So it's gonna be more easy. You're gonna be like super excited. It's also going to be more affordable because it's gonna take less time, and you're gonna be super happy about it. But again, it's a smaller project. So that's one option. And then if you have the second plan, which is like pitching your services to someone who's already using Notion, then I would say number one, it's a bit more difficult to pitch yourself because you really need to show them you're an expert
Exactly.
because they know how hard Notion it is, and it's like I don't want someone random managing my data.
Random. True.
Um, and then I would say for me it's like the level up because it's like you're gonna be the budget. It's gonna be probably higher because it's like there's a lot of work to do and it takes way much more time. And then it's like you're gonna build the second version of that setup but from a setup they have already built. So then it's not only like, okay, how would I build a setup? Thinking about how do they work, but like if they have been working with this for like a year, you need to
Mm-hmm.
build something who is what that is better than that and more easy to use. But you cannot change it that much because then if not, it's like teaching all the team to use a new tool if you change the whole setup. So that's another challenge. And then there's for me the huge challenge of migrating all the data they have already in there,
True.
and that's what takes most of the time. But
Very true.
again, for me, this is where the fun gets in because it's like it's the highest challenge, and it's
Highest
like you
challenge.
really need to think about how many people is in the team, what's their level of Notion, how do they think, what's like the UX, the UI, like all the you really need to get super empath and understand everyone of the members of the team, what are their roles, what do they care of, how do they think about Notion when they use it, and then build something that's even more easy to use but more effective that solve like the problems they currently have. So to get started,
Okay.
I would say go to the first one, and
Very true.
once you're like get used to it, go to the second one.
Yes. So
But
it's
yes,
like
there are
it's
many ways to do so.
understood. So based on these categories, like I think we've kind of categorized in three. So based on that, like each category has its own expertise level. Like again, if you're going to an place where people are already using the Notion for the businesses, if they want that to be in a kind of tailored to their business, then obviously your expertise is going to be really higher. But that's where the actual money lies. Because if you show them your expertise, then you're going to be paid higher based on the project and things like that.
Hmm.
So it completely depends on that. So yeah, with that we've come to the end of our session. So thank you so much, Anna. It was like really great talking to you. Again, like you've been the first Notion expert and I've got a lot of insights. Maybe in future, like we can have an hands-on session, or like maybe we can think about a use case. We can build it right in front
Sure.
and show it to our audience as well. So thank you so much once again. So is there anything else that you would like to add?
I would say that for anyone out there struggling with Notion, ask for help. Like, stop wasting, because we've all been there, like, stop wasting your time. We're all like a LinkedIn message away. Just say, hey, I need help. Can I like borrow 15 minutes of your time? And then you will get unstuck and you
True.
will stop this pain.
So true. So true.